Food Truck Fridays will be back at Riverside Park this week in Grand Rapids, and I have Cesar Ayala Oriano with me to talk about his food truck, which is
Casa De Los Abuelos, which translates to House of the Grandparents.
And there's a significance behind that name, right?
Yes. So essentially it derives from just paying homage to my grandparents who came from El Salvador when I was about maybe 2-3 years old to California. And just to kind of show how far we've come, it really just started with us in California. And it was an apartment that they rented a room in, where it was my grandpa, me, my mom, my brother, my aunt, and my cousin. So
all of you in one small room.
Yes, yep. So we definitely come a long way since then.
So you live in Grand Rapids now, and you have this food truck. How did this get going? You talked a little bit about the work that your grandparents did, and then moving to Michigan. What kind of jobs did they have when you all first moved here from El Salvador?
So my grandpa was working anything in the kitchen. That's kind of what got my mom into cooking a lot more. And my grandma was doing things like house cleaning, things like that. And slowly but surely, we built up to the life we have now.
I know your mom worked for a long time in healthcare. What jobs did she hold?
So she worked in mainly the kitchen in a lot of hospitals, Steelcase, Metro Health Hospital, working long hours, not a big amount of pay hourly. And essentially, she sacrificed a lot for us, as did my grandparents, in terms of what I wanted to do for my goals and aspirations after college was to get that professional experience, which I did. I ended up working at Grand Valley State as an ombuds program specialist. And then afterwards, when I felt more comfortable, 2 years ago, actually on Mother's Day, my mom and I, we had talked, and we were just talking about more of our dreams and stuff. And I always wanted to be my own quote unquote boss, I guess. And my mom, she always wanted her own restaurant. And we ended up looking into brick and mortar. However, it was a little bit costly. So we ended up opting out of that idea and going more the food trailer route. And ultimately, I just wanted to get her out of that typical 40+ hour work week, and just kind of push that narrative that the next generation should do more, because the previous generation definitely sacrificed a lot.
So 2 years later, you have this beautiful food truck, Casa De Los Abuelos, and your mom's in the kitchen right now cooking for us.
Yeah, she's making pupusas, which are kind of dough like made from cornstarch almost. It's called masa in Spanish. It's a lot easier to explain in Spanish for me. But then there's pork, cheese, beans on the inside, and they're pressed together. It's actually a traditional dish of ours in El Salvador. One of our main dishes, actually, similar to like gorditas for Mexico. And I think Venezuela has their own variation as well. But they end up taking about 10 to 15 minutes on the grill. Super popular. At Horrocks, they sell out probably before 3 p.m. and we're there until 8:30.
Oh wow! Yeah. Okay, and you're at Horrocks every Saturday.
Every Saturday,
much,
yep,
right?
Yep.
What have you found the food truck season to be like? How is the business going in terms of filling up those days? You said you're pretty busy most of the time.
Yeah. So we start early last month. So from April all the way until about mid-October, we'll have the food truck out still. And then during the winter season, we essentially just do a lot of more indoor caterings kind of things.
Okay. And is that season pretty busy as well? The winter season?
Yeah, definitely not as busy as like the summertime with the food trailer itself, but we definitely are getting booked up a lot more now. And we are currently on year 2.
So what step is your mom right now in the process of making the pupusas?
So right now she just pressed them all down together. So now they just have to sit on the grill for maybe 7 minutes on each side.
Okay.
And then they pretty much should be all set to go. And this is a finger food. So you pretty much will eat it a lot, just tearing pieces off. And we have a little side dish that kind of looks like coleslaw. It's called cortido. And you would just kind of take pieces of that and eat it as you go.
Okay.
People do use fork and knife as well, though.
But traditionally, you would use your hands.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. I mean, you have such a rich history that you're trying to continue here and share with people in Grand Rapids. Pupusas are a big part of that. That's specifically a Salvadoran food.
Yes, yep.
So what does it mean to you to be able to share what your grandparents started in terms of bringing you here and working for what they hoped would be a better life in the form of the food that you have?
It means the world for me personally. It's just something I can't ever repay as much as I try to. It's just something that they really had to sacrifice a lot for, and I'm forever thankful and grateful for. I'm a first generation student at Grand Valley State University. Got through my bachelor's degree through just having amazing mentors, professors, and just so many amazing people in my life that really pushed me and just made me want to strive for greatness. And I ended up working in education during my time in undergrad. And something I really wanted to instill on those kids was if I could do it, they could too.
Do you feel like this is what your grandparents envisioned when they brought you over here?
Yeah, I really do. I think the goal was the American dream, and I'm happy to say I think we're accomplishing that right now. And it's just amazing to work with my mom every day. So
yeah, she seems like a lovely woman.
yeah,
you guys work pretty well together.
Yeah.
You don't have any fights or anything in the kitchen?
No, we work really well
Sometimes
together.
things get heated in the kitchen, you know.
That's true. We're definitely not no Chef Ramsay.
Okay. So yeah, we have the first Food Truck Fridays coming up, but we're gonna get a taste of some of the food here, which we're looking forward
And that
to.
just, it seems like there's an
your
added
mom's
on.
right in the middle of making some of the food in the kitchen right now. So tell me a little bit about where she is in the process now.
So
Well, he's showing the window.
Oh,
so
gotcha. She's probably still waiting on them on the grill.
Okay.
They should be done shortly.
Okay. Tell me about your food truck, because you have a nice display out here that features some important family mementos as well.
For sure. So our food truck, we try to do a lot of different things that symbolize different meanings. So the little South Park cartoon there, that was one of the first cartoons we started watching as a family when we first got to the States. So it's just a show that kind of stuck around with us for pretty much our whole life. And I kind of wanted to take a little spin-off of Casa Bonita and make it into like Casa De Los Abuelos as well in our little cartoon there.
I like that cartoon. That's
and then I have a picture of my uncle and I there as well. And
so you and your uncle.
Yeah, I'm super close with my uncle. Definitely he was a big role model in my life. And then we've also got a picture of my grandparents here when they were first married. Coffee cup from El Salvador. My mom made like a traditional coffee with pupusas that you would have in El Salvador.
Yeah.
And here's kind of an idea of what the pupusas would look like too, and the salsa that goes with it, as well as the curtido.
So here we see a little bit of a closer look.
Yeah.
This is the finished product.
Yes,
right?
This is like the finished product. This is what she's getting towards right now.
Okay. And you just made these not too long ago?
Yeah, yep. So
we can try these.
Yeah, these are very edible right now.
So this is what, this piece right here is what
is the curtido
that you would traditionally eat with your hands.
So do you guys want a fork?
No, we don't have.
Okay,
we can eat it how you eat it.
Okay, yeah. So typically you would just kind of tear off a piece.
Okay, and would you put
you
it
want me
on
to
the
show you with this one right here?
Sure.
Okay, so you would just kind of rip off its own piece there, and then you would typically have like the salsa already poured onto. I probably skipped that step.
Okay.
But you can also just dip it in like that.
Okay.
And then you would just get a little bit of the curtido like that, kind of like a mini sandwich.
Nice. Okay.
And then this one is called a revuelta, which is going to be the pork, beans, and cheese.
Very good. Ooh, it's got the nice crisp with the cheese. So you grew up eating these.
And then in El Salvador, it's pretty much morning, lunch, dinner.
That's not a specific meal. It's every meal. That is so good.
and then you'll see people making pupusas everywhere there.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like how we have McDonald's here everywhere. Over there, there's just a bunch of people that make these.
Well, those are delicious.
Thank you.
Man, thank you so much for sharing those. I know
Yeah.
your mom's in the kitchen now finishing making the ones that she's making fresh as well. But thank you for sharing your story with us about what this means for your family and what it took to bring everybody here. I just want to show everyone what they need to know about the Food Truck Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is coming up on Friday. It's the first one of the season, but it's going to be around all summer long. You've got week 1 is just this week, and you've got a bunch of different options, including, you can see, Casa De Los Abuelos.
Yeah, and this will actually be our debut for Food Truck Friday as well.
Awesome. Well, everyone can look for that, but I guess if you want to get the pupusas, you should show up early.
Yeah.
Because they're a sellout. But Cesar, thank you so much for talking
Thank you so
to
much
me
for
today.
having us.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to eating more of this delicious food.
Thank you.